I went and had coffee with one of my best friends. And I'm like, dude, I'm about to hand off a small book of my business. This is going to be my income I'm handing off. And I got young kids, and I got, take care of them. And he's like, wow, I never really thought about this. I need to probably refer you some, clients, and he kind of gave me some names, but it was like taking that leap of faith and saying, you know what, as I like to say, my biggest thing is you got to bet on yourself. And so it also counts. We all know in sales, you got to let go. Your top 20% of your clients does 80% of your business, right? So if you can let go of really your bottom 30% of your clients and say, hey, this is what one man's junk is another man's treasure, right? In this situation, I've handed off several clients that I thought were capped at say $15,000, and one of them turned into a $130,000 client. And I'm like, wow, check the ego at the door. Stop thinking that you have the best connection with some of these clients, and you realize that they can work it a lot better.
Welcome back to Whiskey is for Closers. This is the podcast where we sit down with founders and leaders who have built something from scratch, and now they're trying to figure out how to scale beyond themselves without becoming someone they don't recognize in the process. My name is Craig Johnson. I am joined by just one of our co-hosts today, Drew Epperson. Steve is out traveling. I think he's in Colorado today.
Yeah,
now,
forget him.
Forget him. I have heard a lot of company philosophies in my time, and most of them are 3 sentences, 12 words, 0 soul. And today we're starting with 6 words, and they all end the same way. Work hard, play hard, give hard.
Come on.
And you might know which one of those is the differentiator, and you're probably right. And yet, when you ask Joel Libowsky, the big Swagowski, why Jeckil Promotions exists, he doesn't lead with the work or the play. He leads with making people better. Clients, employees, strangers who might not even know Jeckil's name yet. That's either a brand promise or a worldview. Based on what I know coming into this conversation, I think it's both. He's also pouring Eagle Rare, which is a deliberate choice from a person who makes deliberate choices for a living. Joel, welcome to Whiskey is for Closers.
Wow. Thank you for that welcome. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Hell of
Glad
an
you're
intro
here.
there, Craig.
Right? Okay, so Joel, I'll put Drew on the spot first. Most important question, right? What are we drinking today?
Yep. So I have come at today with a Tennessee. I'm not a native, but I've been here 12 years now. And so I've tapped into the Jack Daniels. Come on. Now, this isn't just any Jack Daniels, people. This is Winter Jack. Okay. This shit right here is so good. It is something that can either spice up any type of mixed drink, which is I'm always a fan favorite of, or you can do like what I'm doing today and go straight. And that is the way I've decided to go. So that is my choice for today. It's Jack Daniels Winter Jack. So
Nice. Well, I'll follow that up. One of my favorites is Angel's Envy. I lived in Louisville, Kentucky for about 8 years. The distillery is downtown and it's awesome. So I had to go with the standard, right? Every single one of their pours is finished in a port wine barrel, and it is excellent. So Joel,
yep.
Did I get it right? Eagle Rare?
We got the Eagle Rare, exactly. That's one of my favorites to have. It's when I can find a bottle here in Atlanta, I am definitely enjoying it. So I enjoyed some this weekend with my brother and my father-in-law in town this weekend. So it's one of my favorites. Nice. I love the Angel Envy, and the Angel Envy Rare is one I also, Rye. Ooh. That's one I also the favorites.
Yeah. That's a good one as well. That is a good one. So Joel, before we dive into anything else, I kind of referenced this in our intro. Work hard, play hard, give hard. Let's start with that third one. Why did you put that in the list?
Well, it's really part of our mantra. We figured this out during COVID that we wanted to be able to support a lot of different charities. And so it started with, I think, the local hospitals, everybody doing the first responders and And we learned that people were taking food and stuff like that to the hospitals. And so then we decided that we wanted to be able to do a give back program. So it's just basically a percentage of our sales every month. We pick a different charity. And so we have 6 charities that we have basically made founders for it. And we do those throughout the year. And then we get between our clients and our employees, we ask them to make other recommendations of ones. So we kind of spread out the rest of the year with other charities. But we like to learn, teach our employees about different charities. We like to learn ourselves about it and just try to support different organizations. So we give away about $80,000 a year, roughly, is what we've given last year, about $82,000.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. Do you care sharing a couple more of the charities that you guys support? Are they mostly local? Are they national? Are they global? Like, are they kind of all over the place?
They are a lot of them are national, but we do typically to the local chapters. One of my favorites I do a lot with is Kyle Peace Foundation. So there's a shout out to Brent and Kyle Peace. These guys are just incredible. They do Ironmans together.
Nice.
Kyle is in a wheelchair. He has spastic cerebral palsy. And so Brent will do, they've done, I think, at least 7, 8.
That's awesome.
Ironmans together. They just did Kona last year. So they are just a true inspiration.
Cool.
So with the Kyle Peace Foundation, what they're doing is getting other people to push other people who are, in wheelchairs. And so I've done several 5Ks, and we just have different events throughout Atlanta where we're able to pair up with other people and have some amazing races around town. It's so inspiring just to meet great people at these events. So shout out to Kyle Peace Foundation and Dell Village. We just did, trying to think of some other ones. We support like having Mental Health Awareness Month. We will do some charities when those kind of thing, breast cancer awareness. So we just try to find, sometimes it comes with different themes of the month. Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. Yeah. I knew we were kind of going to go here pretty quick in the conversation. I love the innovation, and I love the heartbeat behind that.
I mean, Craig Wembley, my business partner, and I, we're just really
good name.
To get back in there. Yeah, between Cornblue and Libowsky, got some good characters there, and so between and having the Craig right. Sorry, catching that part now.
Yeah.
But for us, just having, we just really want to show our employees that it's more than just us, that we want to take care of our families first. We want to be able to provide for the employees, but we really want to give back to the community and just realize that life is just not about us, right? There's so many other people with lots of different needs. And so we just want to be able to give back.
That's cool. So give us a little bit of the background on the company. How did you and Craig end up building this together?
So Craig and I were both in the promotional products business to begin with different companies. And I decided that I was not happy where it was. He wasn't happy where he was. And so we joined forces. Craig and I are cousins as well. So we had that already. Cool. We had a relationship prior to this. So we kind of got together one day. We sat at a $3 cafe here in Atlanta and we got a paper towel out. We're like, what's it going to take to start a company? And so we just kind of put our list together and divided and conquered what we needed to do. And so we took it off from there. At that point, we just thought it was just us two guys who were just going to have this company. Really had zero plan other than how to get the business started. Didn't think about where we would be 26 years from now. Wow. So we started in July 10th, 2000 was our first official day for the company. And so from there, just for 2 years, it was the two of us. And it was just us, just treading water, just trying to provide. At that point, I wasn't even married. I didn't have any responsibilities, and Craig just had his wife. And so we were just kind of, just trying to enjoy doing the swag world.
That's cool.
Man, that's so cool. Okay, so Joel, what is it like working with family?
It's been incredible for me because with Craig, I have a brother his age. So Craig's, I like to say he's much older than me. He's about 3 years older. And so I like to give him a lot of crap for that. But it's actually been really cool because for us, it's connected our families closer together. He's got a brother and sister. His mom lives in Atlanta. So it's brought us, because he's really just the third cousin. Our grandmothers were sisters. And so it's really been amazing to have that connection. So my kids are seeing how important family is and how we treat each other. And Craig has 2 boys. I have 3 kids, and they look out for one another as well. So it's, I tell people I have 2 marriages. I got my wife and I got Craig, and they're two very strong marriages. So we appreciate the relationships.
That's awesome. Well, and you know, to be honest with you, that's not a common story with family working with each other, right? Usually it's, you know, we ended up divorcing and we don't speak anymore. We're on bad terms, whatever the case may be. And you started this company in 2000. So now, 26 years later, you guys are still going hard. I'm going with the theme here. Still going hard. And I love that, man. That's awesome. But I do need to address the elephant in the room. Is that
Okay,
okay with you? Can I address an elephant real fast before we go any further?
go for it.
I need to know, how many times do you get the Big Lebowski comparison? I'm sorry. I just need to know because I feel like I would be doing our audience a disservice without pulling this out and talking about this. So please tell me, how often do you get that?
Believe it or not, this is the first time.
What?
That's amazing.
I am officially disappointed in every
I'm messing with
person
you.
that has ever encountered you, Joel. I'm just saying.
I'm messing with you. No, it happens on like a weekly basis at this point.
There
It's
it
pretty,
is.
it's pretty funny. We actually, you know, my wife, my kids had never watched the movie, and we were fighting over what we're going to name our latest dog, and and my kids literally were just having a hard time. So the long story short is our dog's name is the Dude Libowsky, and I had
Come on.
now my wife
Well played,
all
Joel.
watched. Yes.
That's so good. That's so good.
Well freaking played, the dude. I love it.
I'm impressed
Well,
how many people like of all ages. Like I still get people like in their 20s. Kids are like, you know, saying it's a great cult classic, and I'm like, I'm impressed you guys know what this movie is, but it's amazing.
That's so awesome. Okay, so I know when I go and I meet new people, Joel, one of the first things, a couple of things they ask me, hey, what's your name? And then what do you do? Right. And so that's usually how conversations go. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I've had a couple of different professions. And, you know, one of the professions I had, I was always a little hesitant to share what it was because of the assumptions that people might make about the kind of job that I have, right? And I know that Jeckil is in the promotional product space. So put yourself in a dinner party. You've just got past the Big Lebowski. You've told people you're the dude. You got a dog, right? All the things. All right, you're talking to people. Talk to us. What do people typically assume about what it means to be in the promotional product space? Like, what do they typically assume? And then what do you have to typically correct when you're having those conversations with them?
Well, first thing I get for people older than me or whatever, they'll typically say, "Oh, so you do tchotchkes?" And I'm like, I cringe when I hear the word tchotchkes. That's just, you know, it's such a cheap word for what we do. So I mean, it is
Yeah.
the thing. Oh, so you do T-shirts, you do pens. It's like, wow, you must sell a lot of pens, you know, to be able to put your kid in college and stuff. And so for me, it's just like, yeah, let me just simply share what we actually do. I like to, when I'm, like you said, going around a dinner table, I try to get in front of that and talk to people about, find out what they do first. So if I'm talking to a lawyer, I'm like, hey, you know, if you guys do little conferences, if you guys do a little hardware getaway and you need to do some power banks, or you need to have some water bottles, just kind of make suggestion things that might be cool for them to use when they're having their getaway to, you know, because then the next question I get is, ooh, what's the most popular item right now? And I'm like, well, that is very different for a lot of different people. There's, you know, everybody has different needs. So I don't like to just assume that, you know, this water bottles can work for everybody and stuff.
Well, other than the word tchotchke being a fun word to say, I
Yeah.
totally hear what you're saying, because it's like, honestly, the first time, so I was a recruiter for Mutual of Omaha at one point. And so I was tasked one day to go get, and I quote, go order a bunch of tchotchke stuff for us so that we can hand it away, right? So you're absolutely right that that's kind of one of those things. So what's really neat, I think, about how you've branded yourself, companies like to make big claims. They like to say big things about what it is they do, why it is they do it. But one of the things that you claim is, I want to make people better. That's a really big claim. But what's really neat about that is, like, I'm hearing, you know, even the stories you shared about who you're supporting. But when you think about the branded merchandise company, walk me through the first time, like when you guys realized that literally making people better is what you do. You're not just selling product, but you're changing something. Walk us through when that just became this crystallizing, inspirational moment for you guys.
Wow. It's a good question. It's just when you talk to, really for me, when I look at clients, I'm like, hey, we don't want you to just simply order stuff and order a big box and have it sit in your closet. We want you to be calling us and saying, hey, this was such a huge hit that we want to be able to reorder this stuff. So that's what I'm looking at, just kind of coaching up with client. If I can sit there and say to them, they're like, call me up and say, Joel, I need to order some pens for my next trade show. I was like, can we pause for a second? Can we actually talk about what you're trying to accomplish here? Because are you going to a conference where you got somebody who's in Orlando and their kids are with them, they want to just grab some free stuff so they could just give it to the kids? Or are you trying to have conversations with people? And so that's when I, can say with people that we're having real conversation about it. Let's pause for a second. Don't order 5 50-cent items. Let's order one really good item that's going to be something they're actually going to take home. They're not going to go up to the hotel room and go through the bag and say, this I'm tossing and this I'm keeping. So that's when I like to feel like we're a partnership with our clients and we're not just an order takers in the situation. So.
Dude, that's a really cool differentiator. And to be honest with you, you can, as somebody who would be buying, you can feel the difference, right? When I'm buying as an exchange versus I'm buying something to really connect with somebody, like that is a massive, massive difference, and really starts to set you apart in a very crowded space like that. And so, as somebody who's having a conversation with you, I could appreciate, I haven't really thought about the stuff that I'm engaging with and utilizing as a way of connection more than just, hey, I'm throwing out a bunch of tchotchke stuff. And that's
exactly.
huge. I love that.
Exactly. We will say to clients, hey, let's find something inexpensive to put on your table. So you feel like, hey, we got to be budget conscious and we're going to find a few items to put on the table. But if you have a really good conversation with somebody, let's have a little something extra underneath the desk to say, hey, thank you for taking the time to spend with me. I look forward to follow up with you after this conference. We'll have more discussions about whatever it may be.
Love that.
Joel, I know, we kind of made a joke about it earlier, like, hey, what's the best item that people are doing now? What's the hottest thing? But are there any unique applications that you've seen businesses do to just take that branded opportunity to a different level? Anything unique that you guys have done or anything unique you've seen?
So, I was trying to think how to apply the new AI glasses and the new AI earbuds are huge things. So if you have like world conferences and you're having a bunch of people walking around, having those earbuds that have the translator on them, that's huge.
Wow.
So you can have that. Yeah, we had a client just recently do the smart glasses as for a conference, and so it's important.
How cool.
Yeah. So those are neat products, So not necessarily. One of my favorite things these days is the AirFlies. It's good for personal use. That we get on a plane, I'd say Delta because we're here in Atlanta, we fly. The Delta Lab, you have your screens. And so, that you can either get the cheap, the free earbuds that give you the little head things with the cord attached, or if you have your favorite AirPods like we're both wearing right now, to be able to attach this AirFly into the plug by the screen. And so you can use, whether it's your Max Pros or whatever, you can be able to have the noise cancellation headphones to be able to watch the movie or TV shows on the screens and things. So that to me is also a very cool product. It's awesome to be able to give to anybbe who are big travelers and stuff. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Wait, hold on. So first of all, I'm used to squishy balls and like stress balls.
I know I'm used to legit stuff, man.
Seriously, I'm used to like pens that break after using it one time, right? Or those frisbees, throwing them at people's heads or whatever. Like, these are legit freaking items, man. That's a really cool. I wouldn't even have thought about that.
Drew, I'm gonna send you a box after this. I'm gonna send you a nice little Jeckil. We call it a prospect box, but it's all logoed on the outside and kind of tells our story a little bit. And inside is going to have some nice little goodies where we're going to have some legit swag, so I can change your perspective of what this world is all about.
Joel, I need my perspective changed, and you know what will help me change my perspective? Some really nice headphones, or maybe the Meta glasses. I'm just saying, that could change my perspective really well, Joel.
Wow. Okay.
That's really funny.
Nice. Think it's a whole nother level.
Funny. That's really funny. Well, hey, I know that we kind of touched on this earlier, but I'd like to go back to, really the give hard element and paying it forward. Do you have any specific stories, maybe historically, that you're really proud of as a company? Something that maybe you even share with the team that's just kind of become lore. Really just like the moment that you guys were just like, this is not only who we are, but here's a story of how we made a difference with an organization that we supported.
Okay, so yes, I want to also give a shout out to Backpack Buddies. So this is an organization who helps kids who are not able to have food on the weekends. So this organization puts very very quietly puts in food into their backpack, so when they go home for the weekend, they'll be able to eat. And so we're able to incorporate this thing in multiple ways. So we give them money, but we do a showcase about every 18 months. So we invite our clients to come attend. We have a vendor set up big booths and show what's the latest and greatest, the new items are out there. And then we have backpack buddies come set up as part of this thing. So now we have our clients come and ask them to put a little kit together. And so we put together about 300 packages for people in need. And then we also get our employees to go and volunteer about once a year. We break into smaller groups and we'll go to Backpack Buddies because they basically go to the food bank, they purchase, cases of food and they have to organize it. And then there's churches and different organizations, synagogues who come by and they pick up and they deliver to the different school systems. And so we were able to touch this in multiple ways. So it feels good to be able to physically do stuff. It feels good to incorporate your clients because then with that, the bigger impact was when clients saw this, like they asked for information from Backpack Buddies and they wanted to do it like some of our clients, did it as part of their volunteer work and stuff. So, we work with some pretty good sized companies and it was awesome to be able to have them inquire and get the details to be able to do that.
There's something connecting and bonding about being able to do something in that manner. Like if I were to think about doing business with somebody and it's more than just a transaction. Right. Because really true good companies move you from transaction to this transformational experience. And being able to give just like that, it makes me feel like I'm part of something bigger. It makes me feel like that I'm doing more than just a transaction, but I'm part of something that's transforming someone's life. And there's something true about being a part of something bigger than yourself and how you have shared these stories and being able to move from a product to a transaction. You're going to buy something from me. You have done a really phenomenal job of moving it through into that transformation. And as a salesperson, as a sales company, that really is the heart behind what makes really good sales teams is moving people through that transaction to transformation. So, man, kudos to you, Joel, and to your cousin Craig, and as a company, being able to do some really impactful transformational experiences, and not just you, but pulling in your clients to be a part of that as well. I mean, way to go, man. That's huge.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. Cox, they are a huge company here, obviously, Cox Communications, and they bought into all this. And so it's just amazing seeing the impact of having, because it truly is. I mean, we want to practice what we preach. We want to show, don't want to have to be able to tell everybody our story they can be part of the story, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So, as a salesperson, one of the things that I'm always talking to pre-clients and clients about is who's your ideal client? Who do you go after? Who are they? Where do they live? What industry are they in? Defining that and getting really clear on that. Walk us through who's your buyer. Is it the founder who is embarrassed by their brand? Is it the HR director who wants culture building tools, the marketing team, right, that just ran out of ideas? Walk us through a real prospect who turned into a client and why did that?
So, just a general statement and then be able to dive a little deeper into it is that we like to work with corporate America. We want people who are ordering throughout the year. So HR department, like you mentioned, we work with a lot of people doing new hire kits. So I think it's very important. We believe that, hey, you want to welcome somebody onto your team and you want to be able to say, here's a backpack, here's a little t-shirt, here's a water bottle, here's a journal. You want to show the culture of the company and be able to start off with a nice little welcome bag. So typically we work with HR departments, we work with marketing, we work with events and those kind of departments. So, but I also have one of my big clients, they are a building materials company. And so for them, we create a company store for them And with that company store, the employees can go on there and order what they need for themselves. So they have what they call a welcome a new employee kit. And there's a lot of safety gear in there, and they have safety goggles. So we kit all that stuff together with a partner with a warehouse and be able to ship that out to them. So that's a great client for us because we're kind of locked in together where we are storing a lot of their stuff for them in a company store, and people can go on there and order, but they also have other events where they need to come to us and be like, hey, I need more than what's on your company store. I need, more than one piece, I need 150 or something. And what do you have? And then we'd like to be able to work with them to drop ship for their special events as well.
Awesome.
Yes.
You have a comment that you guys live by, and that's building pride in their brand. Give me a specific story of a client that came in with zero brand pride. They worked with you at Jeckil. Something shifted. What happened?
For us, a lot of our clients are just bigger corporations, so they have already that chemistry there. But we work with a lot of startup companies. I'm trying to think of a specific example right this second. Can't think of it. It's helping startup companies get the understanding the value of promotional items, right? Because for them, they get the company going. They're focused on getting the sales and hiring all the employees, but they don't understand what it means to be able to have people walk around wearing something or walking around the community, because they're the best brand ambassadors for you to walk out and say, somebody asked, wow, I've never heard of that company. What does your company do? Right. So I can't think of a specific company right this second, but that is something that is just a standard thing for us. It's really walking through with people, explaining, because there's billion-dollar companies who won't spend money on marketing. It's mind-blowing to me that they just don't see the value in it. And then we have small businesses who are willing to spend thousands and thousands of dollars because they want to get their name out there. So.
Yeah, well, it's so interesting because as you talk about marketing, sales is sometimes the same way, right? Sales and marketing are two sides of the same coin. We can be seen as the last item in the marketing budget. It's kind of like the throw on, or I guess if we have extra money, we'll do this. When you think about the way you approach sales for Jeckil, how do you start to move yourself up in the conversation away from like just being a vendor, but to being that strategic partner that really is helping them build pride in their brand?
Me, I believe in face-to-face. You got to sit down with people in person, and then you got to understand what's important to them, right? And because there's always these barriers, and it's so much easier to do it when you're having a phone call or through email, but to get with somebody, sit down to say, hey, let's talk human to human and truly gather. Because I've just seen people put up these defenses. And actually made one example for me is I have this building supply company I mentioned. I had my very first meeting with them was super painful. I had used a friend. I reached out to a friend of a friend. I'm like, hey, I see you work at this company. Would you mind making an introduction? And he was high enough up there where the people said, we have to take this meeting. And I'm sitting there, and they're basically sitting here like this. And they're like, yeah, we're here to listen to you, but we already have a vendor we work with. And I'm like, okay, well, just, give me an idea of what you guys do, and let me see if I could be of value to you. And it's been building of, that was the first steps. I mean, they were really, really quiet and really not forthcoming with a ton of information there, but it was starting a relationship. Now I go over there about once a quarter, and each time I go over there, I get a little gold nugget. And it's just amazing to me how it's like, I appreciate my sales team. You got to get out there in front and meet people, because that's how you can learn what is that they are, if they're getting pushed back from their boss, and you say, okay, let's sit down, have a meeting. Let me get you some samples, let you touch and feel, because people have an experience with a vendor, and they'll be like, yeah, they sold us some cheap stuff. And I'm like, no, we're going to get you a sample so you can touch and feel and understand there's a difference between a $3 water bottle and a $15 water bottle, but we can find a $10 water bottle that has better material to it than that, and just explain what the reason why we're recommending this type of water bottle and stuff.
So even in that example, like that's brand pride.
Yes.
Like you're proud of the stuff that you put out, right? Like you think about that $3 water bottle, it's going to get chucked. You open it the one time, the stupid lid breaks off, and you're like, all right, just chuck it in the, trash can. There's no pride in anything like that. And every time I hear you tell this story, even in, from how you're giving to the work that you're providing, there's this deep sense of pride and quality of the things that we provide for people. What does Jekyll's own brand pride look like? I mean, you started kind of talking about it, at least kind of in that providing really nice quality things, but how else does that begin to look when it comes to brand pride?
I mean, for us, we're just a fun company. So our pride is in just not taking ourselves seriously, what we like to say.
Yeah.
And with that, just getting out and just having a good time. We try to find people who can appreciate my sarcasm, and those kind of things. Because I recognize that not everybody's going to, be my style. And there's people who just want to go online and just want to order stuff because they go to, some of those online vendors. But for me, it's like, all right, for us as a company, we want to come to our showroom. If you see our office, it's just a different feel. I mean, we have the ping pong table, we got the Gallagher machine, we got the a full bourbon, tequila little setup in there. So we have we have a fun setup in there, and we're in an old warehouse building that's been converted. So it's just a very open space that has a lot of character to it. So I think you need to come in and experience us. And so, yes, when people just want to do stuff over email, I'm like, okay, this is not going to be the right partnership for us. Yes. So they got to know that we're just our pride of what we do, that we will be happy to find you the inexpensive promotional items, but we're going to also make sure that we're showing you stuff. So hope you see stuff that's different, because everybody come be, hey, I need a pen, I need a post-it notepad, I need, hand sanitizer, which are all, good, useful items for certain purposes. But we're going to say, okay, let's just level it up, just step it up just a little bit more, and let's find some different unique items.
Yeah, that's really
So
good.
cool.
Internally, I'm curious, obviously you help other companies do this all the time. How are you developing your own people as you're still trying to grow? Because that has its own whole pile of issues, right? So how do you continue to develop people while you're still growing and help your employees discover their potential?
Great question. So this is, like I said, 26 years ago, it was Craig and I for a couple of years. And then we brought on a couple of salespeople. I mean, God bless, we have Karen in my office. She's been with us for 24 years. And we have another sales rep, Gail, been with us 23 years. But they came to us. Karen had been working at another promotion company that I was at. And so she came on board with us, and she was already self-sufficient pretty much, right? And so for a while, we're bringing in some salespeople, and they're like, thought it'd be so much easier. Like, everybody needs swag. So I'm gonna convince all my friends to buy it from me. And they realize it's not that easy, because the good news is there's a ton of people ordering swag, but everybody has somebody to set up with. They can just do reorders, and it's so easy just to tell your current vendors to redo that order. But it takes time for the turnaround. Say, I want to get a little bit of business to Joel, and I'm still working with my previous vendor. So it takes time. And so a lot of our salespeople came in, just didn't give enough time, and they started panic. And so they left. So about 9 years ago, shout out to our first sales rep who trusted us with this process. We have Ryan, the great Swagino, and he started with us. And with him, we're like, okay, we're going to give you a small book of business to get you started, and we're going to teach you how it goes. You're going to come on meetings with us, and we're going to go on meetings with you, and then you're going to shadow us. And then with this process, we're going to teach you how to go do your own new business development. So it was, getting more confident and be able to do this business. Because look, what we do, we always say, is not rocket science, but there are so many little details to what we do. There's so many different decoration methods. There's so many little important details to be always thinking about. And so with that, we bring them in, we teach them this stuff. And then we also, luckily get some leads from time to time. So we hand that off, and then we're able to say, hey, when your client reaches out to you, let's talk about what the project is, and let's see how we can bring value to it. And so we give them, by the first year, they go from salary plus small commission to typically straight to 100% commission or straight commission after about 12 months. And so
that's amazing.
And we've been very successful with this over the past 9 years. I think we've been 9 for 11 with it. So we've had nine reps that stuck around. We unfortunately had 2 casualties with it, but it's been a great model for us, where it's like, but with our businesses, we tell it's your first year, you're not going to make a lot of money. You're going to make okay. It's all relative to the person, but you're going to make okay money your first year. But Then after the first year, you catapult typically with it, because if you're following what were our suggestions, and we try to get people to feel comfortable. Let's go out with your friends. Let's have some lunch. Let's talk to whatever your network is, and realize that between LinkedIn and just your friends going through your phone and say, oh my God, this is an old friend of mine. I see that they work at this company. Let's see if they maybe know the marketing person or the HR or the events person. And then that typically, once they get a hit with that, it works. But Ryan, he in his, I think his first or his second year, maybe second or third year, we were doing some cold calling, really about around COVID time. He challenged me to do a bunch more new business development because of, with COVID, our business slowed down where people were not doing trade shows and events, right? And he landed a $350,000 client just off of a cold call. And so I love to say, hey, take that memory and take that name of that company and put it on a Post-it note and put it by your phone. And this is reminds you why you're doing the cold calls. So it's just saying, hey, there's, you got to make a lot of them, right? We all know that it's not the most fun to send out a bunch of emails, to make a bunch of calls. But when you get these hits like this, you're like, this is what I'm down.
Yeah. So Joel, I'm curious with that, right? We've got a lot of founders, leaders that are listening to this where they're still kind of the primary salesperson. Like they're still stuck in the sales cycle. They're not in your industry, but without divulging any like true internal secrets, what are some of the principles that maybe you could outlay for them about how they can start to think about or change their thinking about sales for their companies?
Well, okay. It starts with one small detail is like, so when we hired Ryan, I kind of freaked out. I went and had coffee with one of my best friends, and I'm like, dude, I'm about to hand off a small book of my business. This is going to be my income I'm handing off. And I got young kids, and I got, take care of them. And he's like, wow, I never really thought about this. That I need to probably refer you some, clients, and he kind of gave me some names, but it was like taking that leap of faith and saying, you know what, as I like to say, my biggest thing is you got to bet on yourself. And so it also counts. We all know in sales, you got to let go. Your top 20% of your clients does 80% of your business, right? So if you can let go of really your bottom 30% of your clients and say, hey, this is what one man's junk is another man's treasure, right? In this situation, I've handed off several clients that I thought were capped at say $15,000, and one of them turned into a $130,000 client. And I'm like, wow, check the ego at the door. Stop thinking that you have the best connection with some of these clients, and you realize that they can work it a lot better. So, and it's just, I mean, there's so many things that come out of this that I can't even cover it all, but to think about how I'm helping somebody create a career for themselves and understand, we have sales reps who were in nonprofits and started being able to provide for their, their wife and their future family and everything. So you think about how much it helps their self-confidence be able to realize what they're able to do that they didn't think they could be able to before, because we don't cap people here. So my advice to founders and owners who were in my role is to take that leap of faith and to hand off your smaller accounts, check your ego at the door, and let them take care of these clients for you, because they're better. They can service them more. You got to focus on servicing your top clients, and you just don't realize that these other people can be serviced as well.
Dude, that is really good and phenomenal advice. Easier to say, harder to do in the moment, like you said, sitting there going, hey, I've got a family connected to this. But then when you start to see the bigger picture, to your point, you outlined a sales strategy for development that I don't know if a lot of people caught it or maybe understand it. You were talking about Ryan when you brought him in, and you said, you're going to go with me. You're going to watch me do.
Yes.
Then you're going to go and I'm going to watch you do. And then eventually you're going to get to the point where you're going to be able to go and do it yourself.
Yeah.
That process that you did with Ryan, first of all, you can see the success that happened with Ryan, but there's a reason why 9 out of the 11 people have been successful on your sales team. And I would argue, you tell me if I'm wrong here, that is a big part, plays a big part into why 9 out of 11 are probably stuck on to this day. Where did you learn that from? Was that just something you learned through osmosis? You just, let's just do it. Did somebody teach you that? Like, where did you pick up on that sales process of development?
Yes, I think that was really Craig and I put our heads together with the situation, trying to figure this out. We joined a buying group. Now it's almost 11, this actually next month, 11 years ago. So we did having some conversation with people. And it's really, you take the negative into a positive. When people are talking about how they bring salespeople into the companies, they give them a desk, they kind of phone and they give them a few details. But then they say, okay, I'm too busy. I got to go keep selling myself. I don't really have a lot of time to spend with you. And so Craig and I kind of looked at each other like, all right, let them shadow us and let us. And so the process got smoother. I mean, God bless Ryan for putting up with us, because it was probably a little bumpy at the beginning. And I'll say, we don't have a guidelines. We don't have a everyday setup to say, this is how your first 4 weeks are going to look. Here's how your next 4 weeks are going to look. It was a very flexible program where we sat down and say, okay, I would say to Craig, all right, I got meetings today that I can't let Ryan sit on. Can you take him for the morning? I'll take him in the afternoon. So we kind of share with each other to help build them up, but it was constantly like, hey, just sit behind me. I'm going to talk out loud. You're going to hear me read my emails. It's going to be boring. The first month is so boring. It's so tedious. And then we put them, you say, okay, cool. Now you're going to sit in my seat and you're going to be responding to my clients. And then, they're like, okay, yeah, now I see how more challenging this is. And then the next step is like, all right, kid, here's a project. I'm going to forward you an email. I want you to see what you're going to take care of this project. I'll help you pick out the items, but you got to remember how our software works and how to create the opportunity and how you're going to create the proposal. And then you're going to communicate with the client. I'm going to be copied on the emails and I'll chime in when I need to. But yeah, it really is not, we did not have a formal plan, but we just started seeing how it worked by just them sitting in and shouting at us. And now we've
modeling
grown so much that they are now sitting in each of the different departments and understanding, because we want everybody to respect everybody. This is a big family. It's important to understand that everybody between finance and CSRs and whatever else, marketing, that we need to make sure that everybody respects one another in this office and is able to understand what they bring to the table, and value everybody brings to the table.
That's so good, Joel. You're modeling your culture and how you need to show up. And I know that we need to document things. I'm the COO of our company, right? Like, great with process, love all of that. At the same time, culture is caught. So they're experiencing that from you firsthand.
Right.
So it's so good. I love that.
Thank you.
Now, Joel, I want to switch gears just here for a little bit. With the way that you approach how you approach what you do, what is the most unexpected Jeckil branded item that you've ever helped produce?
It was a very random item, I would say, that I worked with the Albuquerque Casino back in the day. And one lesson I learned from that is that it was fun. When I was younger, I mean, I'm talking, we're going back 23 years. And I love driving to Biloxi. I would make a buddy go down there and we'd have fun for the night. I'd have a meeting, but we'd also gamble and have a good time for a night. And the good news was I grew a really big client out of it. But the bad news was they were 50% of my business at that time. So I would sit by the computer and I would sit by the phone and I would wait for the order. Because we were like getting a $250,000 order, which leads me to, I did this custom fire truck for them. So they had pride that each one of their properties, they had a thing where they had different models. They didn't have the same model, but every property had a fire truck sitting out in front of it. And they would take it, and they would, load up with Albuquerque. You can imagine it's very colorful fire trucks. And so my first project was to go, not my first project with them, but my first fire truck to go to was to go down there and I'd take all these pictures, and we had to then make this thing from scratch overseas. So the amount of back and forth, I mean, I learned so much about this industry. I learned about all the different materials that can go into baking something. So that is something that took years off my life for sure. But, trying to appease them, trying to make sure that the truck look as close to replica as possible. I learned how to do photography. I learned how to, direct traffic with overseas vendor and stuff. So it was quite an interesting experience, to say the least.
That's amazing. That's great. That's great. Well, Joel, we're coming to the end of our time, if you can believe it. A random question. Is there anything that we haven't asked you that we should have, and we need to talk about it before we wrap?
Anything else I can think of? I mean, I just love to say that with building up a team, it's so rewarding to do it. It definitely takes a lot of work to get it done, but you just have to, like I said, you got to bet yourself and just the reward, the biggest part of this is the reward, seeing when light bulb goes off for these people and them believing themselves that they can be salespeople, and that, learning the relationship with people is just something, to me, is just something I treasure. Just looking at how we've grown our company from 2 people now to, I think we're about to have our 25th employee start on Monday. We're bringing in our next sales rep into this. And so, yeah. And by the way, we bring him in about it's kind of fluctuated, but roughly about every 6 to 12 months, we'll bring in a new salesperson. So we want to make sure we set everybody up for success. We had an opportunity to bring in an additional salesperson at the same time. We had this person coming on Monday, and we're like, you know what? We need to make sure we can take care of these people. We're not trying to do the rookie class, bring in 15, 20 people and see how that goes. We want to be able to make sure that we interview well, bring in the right person, and then be able to let them go. So.
That's good. It's good. Work hard, play hard, give hard. What does that look like for you on a random Saturday?
Well, that is definitely playing some golf with my kids. I love to enjoy that. Go out for a nice dinner. Got a reward. Have an old fashioned or have a little bourbon on the rocks is definitely part of it. And I'm definitely I like to exercise. I like to have a crew, a few people that I run with on Saturday morning. So I'm trying to maximize my day with enjoying what life brings us and what life gives us.
Very cool. Very cool. And where can people find you? How can they work with you or get their brand a little more Jeckil in their life?
Exactly. You can check us out at jeckil.com. That's JECKIL.com. Or you can find us on Instagram, Jeckil Promotions, all one word, and find us there. So that's a good start. And find me on LinkedIn, Joel, Joel, Libowsky, Libowsky, on LinkedIn.
Yes. I love it.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thanks, man. Well, we end every episode with a toast. Drew, Toastmaster, takes away, man.
You better believe it, man. Joel, the dude, to the founders trying to build brands people are actually proud to wear. And to the rare ones who figured out that success means more than just winning. It means giving something back to. Cheers.
Great toast, man.
Cheers.
There you go.
Guys,
awesome conversation.
Here's what I keep coming back to. Most founders are trying to build something. But Joel, you're trying to build something that builds something else. Your clients leave with a product, but what you're actually delivering is pride. Confidence in who they are and how they show up. And that is a different value prop. And if you're listening to this podcast as a founder who's still trying to figure things out, you're still trying to figure out who you are and how you need to show up in the market, in your sales conversations, in front of the people that you lead, that's exactly why we started this podcast. Connect with us, connect with Joel. We are all challenged to stop being the last thing standing between our company and the next level we want to reach. Joel, thank you for the Eagle Rare, the philosophy, the proof that give hard is the best kind of close. And to everyone listening, keep building, keep giving, and keep showing up like you mean it. Cheers.